You can't fix the energy crisis if you spend all your time virtue signaling at global summits while cutting domestic energy production. You can't fix the Afghanistan crisis if you ignore the advice from your top generals, pull everyone out, and hand the country over to the exact same terrorist monsters who harbored bin Laden. And so here we are, a president in office but not in power. A presidency that is no more, that has ceased to be. It has expired and gone to meet its maker. This is an ex-presidency. Do you agree? Tell us what you think at Steve Hilton X and at Nextra of FNC, and share this message when we post it. In a moment, we'll get perspective from Tammy Bruce. There she is standing by. But first, we're joined by Tennessee Senator Bill Hagerty. Great to see you, Senator. I was always a fan of your attitude to all this, because you were pretty much the lone voice standing against the first of these giant bills, the so-called bipartisan infrastructure bill. When you look at the mess that's going on, just tonight we're learning they've delayed the vote again. They said they put all the procedural steps in place to have this vote on Tuesday. Now they're saying actually not Tuesday. The reason, it seems, one of the reasons at least, is Senator Bernie Sanders, your colleague there in the Senate, trying to push in more of what he wants. Do you think that someone like Bernie Sanders, who's leading all this, even wants a deal? I've got this feeling that he actually would like the whole thing to blow up so he can say, see, this is what happens when you put someone like Biden in charge. You need to vote for me as president, then I'll give you what you want.
That well could be, Steve. And you talk about the death of a presidency. Well, this has all been by self-inflicted wounds. You know, it's fitting that we're talking here on Halloween Eve, because if you think about what the Biden administration has done, it's been all tricks for the American public, whether it's collapsing our border, as you mentioned, Afghanistan and the debacle there that's embarrassed America and cost American lives and Afghan lives, the destruction of our economy, inflation, gas prices, you name it. He's put us in such a precarious position around the world. I think that the American public is looking at just what you articulated, shaking its head and saying, again, all tricks and no treats from this administration.
Yeah, I totally agree, and very apt. I mean, look, if you sort of look ahead, it seems to me they're stuck in this position now where they have to either deliver nothing for all this argument that's been going on, or both of these bills together. What do you think's going to happen? I keep wanting to see Republicans come to their senses and say, look, even the one that is called the bipartisan bill, many aspects of that would do so much damage. Do you think any Republican colleagues of yours might peel off?
It's hard to say. I worked very hard on that, as you know, back at the first instance when I stood up against that bill. And I think you remember the history of that, Steve. 2,700 pages plus that was dumped on us. People didn't know what was in the bill. When the scoring came through, again, it was promised to be paid for. Turns out that it was over $250 billion in the red, in the hole. There are many things in that bill that had nothing to do with hard infrastructure, at least what you or I would call hard infrastructure. I think it turned out to be 23% hard infrastructure. The rest of it, basically a doorway into this big, massive social spending plan that they're fighting over right now. It's got Green New Deal provisions in it. They're basically trying to destroy the fossil fuel industry, as you know. This is going to be devastating to our economy if it should pass. And I think the American public had an opportunity to wake up. First, when I stopped the bill, when we pushed back hard, several of my colleagues moved over, but not enough. I promised back then, though, that what this was going to become was the hostage that Nancy Pelosi and the liberals in her party would use to force those people that voted for the so-called bipartisan bill to come on board with this massive social spending plan that Bernie Sanders has authored.
Well, that's exactly right, and that's what they fell for. And that's why I'm so proud to have you here tonight, because you were one of the few that said, no, we can't. Don't you see what's going on? They're saying that this is it and persuading Republicans to come on board by saying, well, it's just this roads and bridges thing. But the fact that they then connected it, it's all one thing, really. And I'm so pleased that you managed to put a bit of a spoke in the works. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's not looking good for them. But Senator Hagerty, well, good for you. I think that's what the people really want to see, especially as the economic crisis gets worse and worse. Senator, great to see you tonight. Thank you.
Good to be with you, Steve.
All right.